Chant a psalm a day. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. Oh my goodness, we are here. Let me get my hot tea. Oh my goodness. It's nothing like some hot tea. I didn't bring my lemons to squeeze in there, but it's okay. We're here. We're here every day chanting a psalm, okay? Oh my goodness. So the psalm today is 110. 110. 110. And it's interesting because Psalm 110 is about sitting at the righteousness of the Most High. Sitting there, staying there, being in there. That is the place to be. You know, sitting at the righteousness of the Most High. That's the place to be. It's the place to be because it's going to keep you from, a lot of problems, when you sit at the righteousness of the Most High. So, let's see what my tea says today. It says, forgiveness is an act of consciousness. So, forgiving, it's a powerful thing to forgive yourself first, and you will be able to forgive others. We're the hardest on ourselves. So thanks for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. So 110 is sitting at the righteousness of the Most High. People want to take you out of that righteousness. They, don't let that happen. Always err on the side of righteousness. Always. Keep it as the forefront of your life. Greetings, Elsu. Thank you. Greetings on this Saturday. Everybody's supposed to be staying in bed, cuddled up on a Saturday. But I'm glad you're joining and listening to the word here on Chant A Psalm A Day. As you can tell, I am not in Maryland. I am on the east. I'm not on the Eastern Shore. So I had a good birthday. Thank you, everybody, for asking. I had a wonderful birthday. Celebrated it, and it was beautiful because even though I was alone for my birthday, I got to see my son. I got to spend some time with him, and because both of us have the same birthday. So, but then I, had to leave. So I'm excited that I got that time to be alone, because time alone is healing. Believe it or not, people are afraid to be alone with their own thoughts. I was glad that I was able to do that. And today's Saturday. I get to go out and explore, get to meet with a good friend of mine. And thank you for liking this video. And just being a part of the living and breathing and having a happy life is so important. So with being alone, if that has to be my happy life, then it's so be it. I'm happy. But I wanted to get into the psalm today because it's about sitting at my right hand. And people used to really abuse children for writing with their left hand, because everything is coming from the scriptures. And when I looked at um, certain scriptures and certain stories, we see a lot of what's happening today. A lot of the churches and stuff have adopted like these certain things. So when we look at the psalm today, sitting at my right hand, I translate that to be sitting at righteousness, sitting at the hand of righteousness. And that hand could be left, it could be a right hand. We should not discriminate. So, but this is what happened. This is what people did. They would beat children if they wrote with their left hand. That's not cool. So, when we look at the psalm today, sitting at the right hand of the Father, we hear that Jesus at the right hand of the Father. So right-handed is, what was pushed. But we know that righteousness doesn't discriminate. Right hand, left hand, it doesn't discriminate. So sitting at righteousness, sitting there, laying in bed with righteousness, talking to righteousness, walking with righteousness, being with righteousness. It's important, to have that positive narrative, so that all the negative narratives that you create in your mind can go away. So we're sitting at the righteousness of the Most High, and that Most High is kindness, compassion, long suffering, forgiveness, love, grace. All of that is what you're sitting next to. I sit next to grace and compassion. I sit next to goodness and forgiveness. I sit next to these things because they're going to keep me from getting upset at people. It's going to keep me from getting upset at myself. It's going to keep me from getting stressed. So, there's a stress hormone called cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone that our body creates when we're going through adverse situations. And it hurts our body. It breaks our body down. It breaks our body down. And in that, we get, the result is disease. It's disease in the body. So it's important to sit at righteousness, sit at grace and compassion, so that you're not stressed. Nothing can shake you up or down or make you do something to yourself that's not good. So Psalm 110 has about 7 verses, and I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteous, what is good, what is kind, and what is merciful. Okay, let's turn this light on. So, let me turn this one off. Righteousness speaks. Righteousness speaks. So it says, the Lord says to my Lord. So righteousness speaks. Sit at righteousness until I make your enemies your footstool. And who are the enemies? Anything that is against righteousness, anything that's against love and goodness is the enemy. So sit at the righteousness, sit at compassion, sit at grace, until I make those that are against all of that your your footstool. So we see David, and in verse 2, David looks at sending forth from the happy righteous place a mighty scepter. So we see the mighty scepter With Moses, when he used the scepter to part the sea, we see that mighty scepter in many different ways, right? And this mighty scepter is ruling in the midst of finite enemies. So we don't have to do anything to folks. We don't have to retaliate. We don't have to vengeance is mine, says the Lord. We do not have to do anything because righteousness is going to rule in the midst of the enemies. Okay? Righteousness is going to rule in the midst of the enemies. So the people will offer themselves freely on the day of the power of righteousness in sacred garments. Okay, from the womb of the rise, the dew of youth will be for you. Okay, the Lord has shown, righteousness has shown, and will not change. Righteousness is righteousness. It's not going to change its mind. It's righteousness. It's going to stand up to wrongness. It's going to stand up to, that is not good. It's going to stand up to it without being afraid of what the outcome is, because they know that righteousness is going to rule, and that is the side you need to be on. So that free will to offer oneself, in sacred garments, the dew of your youth will be yours. So it was interesting because I turned 55 yesterday. 5-5. Now 5-5 is a very powerful number. And I turned 55, and someone asked how old I turned, and I said, you need to guess. Just guess. I was wanting to see what they would say. And they said 45. And I said, that's interesting because that's my dad's number, 45. I said, add 10 more years to that, and that's how old I am. The man fell out. He couldn't believe that because 55, like the comedian said, the comedian said at the show that, he's turning 54 on Sunday. He's turning 54 on Sunday, tomorrow. And he said when he was young, 54 was old. Was old. 54 was old. So, when I look at the psalm and I see the dew of your youth will be yours, because you're offering yourself freely to righteousness, I am evidence of that. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but I look at my life in terms of, you don't see the trauma that I've been through. People like, oh my gosh, she's happy, she looks good. What has happened to her? You don't want to know. So I don't look like that trauma I've been through. And it's because of this. It's because of the righteousness that is free for me to take and to live with and to sleep with and to talk with and to be with and to, have in my life. So in verse 4, righteousness made a vow, made a promise, or have sworn and will not change, that you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Okay, meaning that you are to carry yourself in that way and render your garments and not, your heart. So in verse 5, righteousness is at the right hand, is at the Lord is at your righteousness. Righteousness is there and will shatter kings on the day of righteousness' wrath. Because righteousness is going to deal with the wrongness. That's why you stay out of it. You let the good Lord take care of it. Because that judgment is going to be executed among the nations. That's happening right now, filling the nations with corpses and shattering chiefs over the wide earth. You see, leaders are being, taken down. And in verse 7, is, you're going to drink from the brook by the way, and your head will be lifted up. This was in another psalm, the head being lifted up. I love that because we have to lift ourselves up. And in order to do so, we must be on that righteousness, not on that bullshit, but on that righteousness. That this is not made for children, okay? Because I might speak something that's not appropriate, like I just did. So that was a psalm today. In a nutshell, we are going to sit at the right hand at the righteousness of the Most High until that time is supposed to be. So we leave people there. We are to sit at the righteousness of the Most High. That's where we sit. And when we sit there, we're not going to get bothered by negativity or adversity. We're going to be held in accountability for our actions. So let's look at our verse today. Our verse today is coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. And 1 Corinthians says, the person without righteousness, does not accept the things that come from righteousness, that's of God. Only that person that doesn't, that person without righteousness is thought of to be foolish, and cannot understand, because you only can discern through righteousness. Does that make sense? 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. The person without righteousness doesn't accept the things that come from righteousness, or that's the source of righteousness. They're not accepting that because they're without that righteousness. They don't have it. So we look at them as foolishness. And foolishness cannot discern righteousness. So the persons without righteousness is not going to be able to discern folks. Who's this and who's that? I'm glad I've grown in my life to know this, because I've been in relationships that haven't worked because of this verse right here. I was without that knowledge of that righteousness within me. So I accepted anything. I accepted the foolishness. I accepted the misunderstanding. I accepted these red flags. So 1 Corinthians is hitting a hard punch, in that it speaks to what I was, a person without righteousness. I mean, I did good or whatever, but I didn't look at that righteousness within me as a source of strength. I looked at outside myself as I'm looking for someone to be that strength. Does that make sense? So the person in this verse of the day, the person without righteousness, compassion, love, kindness, mercy, long suffering. If you can't suffer long, you're not going to be able to discern anything, because long suffering is you being alone. It's you being able to be by yourself, with yourself, in yourself, and finding yourself so you can be better for someone else, and not bitter. So the person without righteousness does not accept the things that come from righteousness, that is of the Most High, that's above. They're seeking for what is below and not what is above. So when we seek for what's above, we're able to discern, we're able to discern, meaning we're able to suss people out. We're able to see, others' righteousness. Okay? And if it's not there, we're going to see something different. It's going to be revealed. So, and we're not here to judge anyone. We're not here to condemn anyone. We're here to live within our own righteousness and being accountable for that. Not pointing a finger, not looking at the other person, but looking within. So I love this First Corinthians, because it gives us a firm standing that foolishness is a real thing, and the person without righteousness is a fool, is foolish, not anyone out there, okay? And when you're foolish, you're not able to stand firm in knowledge, and the only way is is through that righteousness. Okay? Foolishness is discerned. You're going to see people's foolishness only through righteousness, only through that righteousness within you. And you're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to discern. Because the person without righteousness is known to be a fool, is foolish. And it's not just righteousness, but it's mercy, it's compassion, it's love, it's long suffering, it's forgiveness. When the person don't have those qualities, they don't accept the things from above. They're only looking at what is in front of them, right? What's there, but not accepting what is above. And what is above is compassion, it's loyalty, it's truth, it's humility, it's grace, it's kindness, it's all of these things. So the person without these things, they cannot accept those things because that comes from a higher place that they are not able to reach, because they're looking outside of themselves instead of inside. So I love the verse today because it gives us this foundation of what to build on. Remember, I said we're building blocks to our relationship with the Most High. Building blocks. And these building blocks are part of, the narrative of positivity and humble and an outcome that is going to be good for you. So the word today is brought to you by Psalm 90. We had Psalm 91 yesterday, but Psalm 90 is bringing us our word today. And our words today is time enough. Very true, Elsu. Big facts. Time enough. I have time enough to do what is mine to do. I tell children this: do what you have to do first so that you can do what you need to do later. So you can do what you want to do. Do what you need to do so you can do what you want to do. So It's natural to wonder how I'll find time to do all that is before me. I have a whole lot to do, right? Especially when I feel overburdened or pulled in too many directions. This happens to us as a, as a professor in academia, as an entrepreneur, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, as all these things you are to everybody. When this happens, you have to affirm, I have time enough. These simple yet powerful words remind me I am in control of how I focus my energy and how I use my time. Even when I cannot control what is happening around me, I can control what is happening within me. So that is what I just talked about. What is within you is all you can harness. Don't worry about what's outside of you and what you can't control. Focus on what's happening within. So through the power of righteousness that's within you, I use righteousness's gifts of will. You have free will to choose how to direct my attention and energy. So you have free will, similar to what the psalm is talking about today, that we have that free will. We have that ability to receive and to give. So we have to choose wisely. I do one thing at a time, okay? Affirming I have time enough when I am tempted to try to multitask. This is me. I multitask. I'm doing 3 things at one time. And being tempted to multitask is a temptation. So we want to avoid that, and we want to do one thing at a time. Give our 100% energy into one thing at a time. And I have to learn that. I'm learning that. So, reclaiming my righteous power. And I talked about this, everyone, just now, that the person without righteousness does not accept the things that come from righteousness, that comes from the Most High. So, reclaiming your power now, you have to reclaim it. Reclaiming your power, relax and feel time expand. Okay, I do what is mine to do. Affirming I have time enough as often as I need to. So, teach us to count our days that we may gain a wise heart. This is Psalm 90, verse 12. The word today is time enough. The words today, time enough, right? You have time enough to do what you need to do. And it's early here, y'all. So teach us, and I'm an hour, behind. I'm into a different time zone here. So teach us to count our days that we may gain a wise heart. Psalm 90, verse 12. Teach us to count our days so that we may gain a wise heart. All right? Selah and Selah again. That was the word today. I'm so glad I got the word today, the verse today, the psalm today, and Max Lucado's Walking with the Savior today is talking about another place, and it's brought to you by Psalm 31, verse 7 to 8. I will be glad and rejoice in the love of righteousness, because righteousness saw my suffering. That's why long suffering is part of this. Righteousness saw my suffering. Righteousness knew the troubles that I have, and have not handed I over to mine enemies, only have set I in a safe place. So, righteousness, righteousness is going to set you in that safe place. And that safe place is where you will find that grace. and that kindness and that love and that humility. So let's see. And it's important because, like I started talking about cortisol and the stress, you don't want that. That is going to catch up to you as you get older. You don't want that. You don't want stress in your life at all whatsoever. So it's important that, you maintain that you maintain that stance. What is this? Okay. What is this? Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is not what I wanted. Um, okay, here. Okay, let me put this in. So let's. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. So we looked at the psalm, and I wanted to look at for September 28th today. And we're in the book of Zechariah, for September 28th, finishing touches. So, oops. And in finishing touches, we have Zechariah is looking at goals and rebuilding. So we are in that phase. We are rebuilding every day. Every day we have to, every day we have to rebuild. Oh, it's not that much. Okay. All right, let me see this other one. So we are rebuilding, and in that rebuilding, like I said, we have an advocate. 4033. Okay, not that bad. Okay, so I got like a lot of stuff going on. So whenever I have that moment to chant a psalm, I love it because it sets me in a place where I can be uh, ready for whatever is coming. So, and I'm exhausted. I'm like really exhausted and tired, but I have to keep going. So, for tomorrow, we're looking at let us pray not for lighter burdens, but for stronger backs. And I need that. I need stronger backs. So, yes, stronger backs. We need that. So look forward for tomorrow's Chant A Psalm, um, and thank you for joining. I appreciate everybody on here um, that stops in to join me in this Chant A Psalm A day. I love it. I'm thankful for that. Um, so let's find now the place that we need to be. And I'm enjoying, yes, I'm enjoying my time away. I tried not to bring work with me because it is my birthday strong end. And it's important to have that time away to reflect. It's good to have that time away for closure, for reflection, for the ability to see yourself and how you can be better and not bitter. Yes, we have to less work and more, what should I say, more taking care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is, I look at it in the pies: physical, intellectual, emotional, and social. And yes, Elsu, I have, do you I have to. Everyone's like, oh, you're going by yourself, you need to be around people, and what are you doing, da da da. And I was like, no, I love time by myself. I love that experience because I become a better person for myself and for others. So people are afraid to be alone. They're afraid, and if they're alone, they feel sad, depressed, in a despair. When in fact, it's okay to be alone. Experiencing a night out by myself was interesting. Nobody bothered me. I didn't have anybody hitting on me, coming up to me and harassing me. Everybody was booed up, were coupled up, and that was amazing to see that I could be in a space with so many people and be safe. Because my daughter was like, oh, so many things are happening. What if somebody starts shooting up in the show? And I was like, I know, right? But we can't live our lives like that. We have to live. We have to not be afraid, and we have to live, and we have to err on the side of kindness so that is brought to us. And this is what happened to me. I had people being kind. I mean, it's wonderful. And I always tell them, thank you, that's so kind of you. Because they need to know that gesture, that act is a kindness that is welcomed and that I like it, So it's interesting. We tell people what we like physically when we're making love, right? But we don't tell them what we like outside and of that space. And we tell it to them in a mean way sometimes. So we have to acknowledge when someone does something that we really like. We can't just let it slide. We have to build it up and acknowledge, thank you so much. That was so kind of you. So that person is going to remember, oh, she likes that. That made her feel good. that I, sent her a text with a birthday greetings or something. Shout out to a dear friend of mine who sent me a text with a picture, and it was the most beautiful, beautiful text. And this is what it said here. Isn't that beautiful? Birthday queen. And I just, that gesture, even though it's small, was, it filled my heart with a big hug. It's like this virtual hug. And I am looking forward to meeting my dear friend. It's been 18 years that I haven't spoken to my friend, this person, over 18 years, and we have reconnected. And it's like we just, where we left off. We just started communicating from where we left off. And the communication is kind. It's not judgmental, it's not forcing, it's not demanding, it's not, I'm gonna grab you, no, it's a relaxed and a calmness that I so need now in my life. And it's like, that's what righteousness mentioned to me. I'm gonna send my righteousness, in other words, through individuals, that's going to give you that boost that you need. Even though it's from the inside, you still need someone to pour inside of you, so that you can be able to marinate in there and express that outward in your relationships to people. So shout out to my friend all the way in Alabama. Thank you so much. Love you, kindness. I'm just looking forward to speaking to you again. And my friend in Barbados, Jade, shout out to you. Have a blessed day. El Sue, shout out to you. And my great family in the Virgin Islands. My mom, I spoke to her yesterday. I wished her a happy birthing day because she gave birth. I was so blessed to have been able to speak with her, and she left me voicemails, so I have those. And I'm grateful for the outpouring of love and wonderful kindness that has been shown. So thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. I want everyone to have a blessed, beautiful day, and take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself, everyone. Have a blessed day, everyone. You too. Be well. Thank you. I receive it.